أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله لا إله إلا الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأما بعد. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, truly and verily all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and we seek only His help and His forgiveness. We also seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of our nafs, which is our carnal desires. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the nafs is inclined to do su, which is evil except by the mercy of Allah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that rahmah, for that mercy. We also seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the sayyat, those minor sins that are not sanctioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Sunnah. Those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills to be guided to Islam, the path of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no one can lead them astray. And those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills to be led astray from the Sirat al-Mustaqim, from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no one can guide. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, the one God who has no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his slave and his messenger. Amma Abba. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in hadith that verily the best speech, the best hadith is the speech of Allah in the Quran, and the best guidance, the best hadith, the best guidance is the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning the Sunnah. And the worst of all matters are those things that are innovated by the people pertaining to this deen. For all innovation leads to bid'ah, all bid'ah leads to dalala, all dalala is in the nar, which is the fire. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Ya Allah, guide us to the straight path, the path of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with another opportunity of Yawm al-Jumua. And we know that Jum'ah is a time or a day for maghfirah. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that verily all of the sons of Adam will sin. All of the sons of Adam will sin. It is decreed, but the best in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those that make tawbah. So alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have tawbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is at-tawwab. He is the one that accepts repentance. And He also gives us certain things that we do in our daily lives that will give us the opportunity for forgiveness. And Yawm al-Jum'ah is one of those days. Also, Yawm al-Jum'ah is a time for reflection and a reminder that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather us on the day of judgment. It is the day of gathering. The same way that Yawm al-Jum'ah, we gather today, all of us come together in one spot. It's a reminder that, inshallah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather us on the day of judgment the same way that we're being gathered now. The thing with regards to Islam, we must understand that Islam is a jama'ah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Islam is jama'ah. Islam is community life. Islam is community life. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in hadith, the one that leaves the jama'ah, or the one that leaves the community, or one that leaves the ummah, that Islam will leave his neck or her neck until they return back to the jama'ah. So community life is very important in Islam, and that's the basis of today's khutbah, community life. Again, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, stick to the jama'ah, stick to the community, stick to the ummah, stick to the masajid, stick to the brothers that are dini. He said, because if you leave the jama'ah, you leave the congregation, you leave your brothers, then Islam will leave your neck until you come back to the jama'ah. Okay? So Islam is not an individuality. We know that this society, it preaches individuality. Be yourself. When you get to 18, you get kicked out the house. Islam is not about that. It's about structure. It's about family life. It's about community life. The masjid, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was the center for everything. It was a center for education. They used to wrestle in the masjid. They used to work out in the masjid. They used to give dictates or edicts out the masjid whenever something was important. Bilal would call the adhan and call the people to the masjid to have some type of understanding. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in the Quran that the best example in Surah Al-Tawbah, verse 100, Allah said that the best, the sabiqun, the awwalun, or the muhajirin and the ansar, those who are the best, the foremost in this deen, they are the muhajirin, those who migrated from Mecca to Medina, and those who are the ansar, those who are in Medina and accepted the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to protect him and make bay'ah to him in the pledge of Aqaba. Now the best example, Allah says, and those waladina tabawhum bi ihsan, and those who follow them with ihsan. So the best of the ansar, the muhajirin, the sahabas, and those who follow them bi ihsan. If you go into the tafsir, it said to follow them bi ihsan means to follow them in their actions, to follow the ways of the sahabas. In the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the sahabas made hijrah, now we know there was two hijrahs. The second hijrah was to Yathrib or Medina. The first migration was to Abyssinia, Africa. But the second migration, we have a perfect example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and a perfect example of the Jama'ah or community life in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they made hijrah to Medina, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the Ansars and the Muhajirin brothers. Right? There were some brothers who had more than one wife or more than the allotted four. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam paired some of the Muhajirin and the Ansar together. He paired them up. And some of the brothers even gave some of their wives to some of the Muhajirin. That's brotherhood. The Prophet Muhammad, some of the Sahabas, they said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made us become so close as brothers that we thought that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to reveal an ayah with regards to the inheritance or how close the brotherhood was in Islam with regards to the Sahabas. There was also an instance in the Sahih, in the Hadith, where one of the Sahabas said that we were with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one time and we were all scattered out. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, come together, get close together, be brothers, get close. And he said that after that time, the Sahabas were so close to one another that you were able to put a sheep over all of them. That's how close they were. Also, we know in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in Surah Imran, He said that verily you was on the brink of destruction. You were on the brink of destruction, fighting against one another, right? Maybe you had prejudice or tribal feuds, or you from this side of town, you from that side of town, or we had a killing back in the day. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said you were on the brink of destruction, but He made you brothers. See, we have a common denominator and a common motivator in this deen, and that common denominator and motivator is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is the common denominator. This is the common motivator, and this is the common factor that all of us as Muslims, this is the thing that we should hold on to, and this is the thing that makes us brothers. We know the hadiths, we know the fundamental hadiths, we know the baby hadiths that all the Muslims should know, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the Muslims are like a wall. And if any part of that wall, or like a body, and if any part of that body feels pain, then the whole body feels pain. This is the Muslim Ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we are Ummatul Wahid, we are one Ummah. Okay? So the emphasis today is community life. How do we become brothers? How do we have a community? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that one of the things that will bring about brotherhood is the spreading of the salams to the people that you know and the people that you don't know. Giving the spreading of salam, assalamu alaikum. Look your brother in his eyes, shake his hand firmly. Don't give him as we say, a soft handshake. Shake his hand firmly. Use both hands. This is the sunnah as well. To shake with both hands, this is the sunnah. Give your brother salams, those that you know and those that you don't know. One of the Sahabas, after hearing the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regards to the brotherhood and the spreading of salams to bring about brotherhood, he went out into the marketplace and just gave salams all day to all the brothers that he knew and all the brothers that he didn't know. The reward of giving salams is forgiveness of your sins. The whole time that you hold on and you let go, you'll be forgiven of your sins. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Now that Ramadan is over, we have to make some type of goals, just like these kuffar. And Rasulullah said, you'll follow them in everything that they do, even if they go into a lizard hole. You'll follow them. Right? One of the things that the non-believers do, they have a New Year's resolution or some of the things that they will do. But Ramadan is over. And Ramadan was supposed to be the boot camp. Ramadan was supposed to be the prepper for the rest of the year. So as Muslims, we should make a conscious decision about ourselves too. But what is it that I'm going to do from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan? What are some of the goals that I have? What are some of the ambitions that I have? What are some of the things that I'm going to put on my to-do list? One of the things as a community that we should strive to do is to strive to build our community awareness. Those who came through the masjid, you've seen that we have the other side, it's fixed up. What we're trying to do is to establish a community center, a place where we can have community activities. Maybe we can have brothers that want to have walimas, aqiqas. Maybe we need counseling. We're going to try to put together an entertainment place for the children so that they can have a place to play. They ain't got to run the streets. Okay? So we're trying to work on the children. And this is the first thing, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and the Sahaba said that the strength is in the youth. The strength is in the youth. Some of us that are already 40, 50 years old, right? We're not in our prime, or some of us are in our prime. But the main thing is the youth. Because if we don't start with the youth or continue with the youth, then the next generation will fail. The next generation will fail. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim, chapter 66, verse 6. Oh, you will believe, the mu'mineen, those who will follow this with some type of action. Oh, you believe, those who have iman, those who follow iman with amal. They'll follow this iman, this belief with some type of action. You don't believe unless you have amal. Oh, you believe, save yourself. Okay? Make this a resolution for you. Not a New Year's resolution, but a Muslim resolution for yourself. Save yourself. How do I save myself? I have to acquire knowledge of this deen. I have to acquire knowledge of the Quran. I have to acquire knowledge of the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then I must acquire proper knowledge and save myself to the best of my ability. I must understand Tawheed. I must understand Salat. I must understand the do's and the don'ts, the haram, the halal, the makruh, the mubah. I must understand these things. If I don't understand these things, then I must get into class. Okay? When you save yourself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh, you believe, save yourself, save your nafs, and then save your family. Save your family. Save your community. Save the children. Save your wives. Save your cousins, your nephews. Save yourself, and then save your family. Okay? The family is dealing with your wife or even your husband. There are some women who may have more knowledge than their husband. It's your responsibility to warn your husband. For the men, it's your responsibility to warn your wives, those who have the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, then you must acquire that knowledge. You must acquire the knowledge and give it to not only your wife, but also your children. Save yourself and your family. This is a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not an option. This is not if you like to or if you feel like it. You know, save your family. This is a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Save yourself and then save your family. And inshallah, we'll talk about that in the next half, inshallah. Again, A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and Alhamdulillah, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Again, we're talking about community life. There is no Islam without the Jama'ah. There is no Islam without the community life. There is nothing but community life for Islam. There is no individuality in Islam. It's about community. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be brothers. Be brothers. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you see something that your brother has that you like, make dua for him. So Allah is saying, be a motivator. Don't hate on your brother. There is no I in team or in ummah. Ummatul wahid. We're one ummah. Okay? Now we're talking about community life. How do we better the community? It starts in the home. It starts in the house. Before your children leave the house and go to the community and raise havoc on the community or positive factors in the community, they get that training from the house. So in order to have a better community, you must have a better family structure. Okay? Here at Masjid Aqaba, inshallah, we're going to strive to do. We have a lot of sisters that want to get married. We have brothers that want to get married. There's no reason for them to go on chat lines and do all that extra stuff if we follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when you want to marry, whether it's for a man or a woman, that you marry for 4 reasons. For the deen, for wealth, for family status, or for beauty. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, marry the one for their deen, for their religious conviction. Otherwise you'll be a loser. Another narrative said your nose will be in the dirt. So when you get married, sisters or brothers, when you're looking for a spouse, make sure that you are marrying someone based on the deen. Someone that can help you in the deen. Someone that can motivate you in this deen. Someone that can teach you and learn you this deen. Don't pick someone that's going to tear down your deen. Don't pick someone that's not in their deen. And as we said here at Masjid Aqaba, we're striving to, inshallah, bring about community and family structure to try to facilitate these things for the brothers and sisters that need this. You don't have to go to the chat lines. You don't have to go on the website and all that other stuff. You come to the masjid and inquire. If you're looking for a sister, then you inquire by asking her uncle or her dad, her father, her grandfather, right? Sisters in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to seek the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam based on his conduct and his character. So sisters, you can inquire about brothers as well, okay? And being that we want to set you up with the right type of partner, not just someone that will take you off your deen. We will give you the real about a certain brother, or we will give you the real about a certain sister if you're trying to get married, okay? The best ones to marry are those who are astute in their deen, okay? And again, brothers, community life starts with the family. For the fathers, if you are lacking in your education with your children, make it a point to step this up. If they don't know the Quran, they don't know the Sunnah, they don't know how to read, they don't know that. We have classes here at Masjid Aqaba for free. We have Arabic classes, we have Tawheed classes, we have foundation classes, we have miracles of the Quran. If there's some Muslims who don't even know about the miracles of the Quran, for whatever reason that they got too much caught up in this dunya system and haven't studied their deen. Because there are some of us who have been Muslim for a long time, but yet we haven't studied our deen. At Masjid Aqaba, we're trying to facilitate where brothers can step their education up. So we have, again, this is a challenge. I have a challenge for all the brothers and sisters of Masjid Aqaba. This Sunday, inshallah, we're going to be starting the Arabic alphabet. All those who haven't learned how to read, all those who want to know how to read, all those who started learning how to read but stopped and started and stopped because they didn't have the right person to teach them, or there wasn't something facilitated for them. The challenge is all those that want to learn Arabic, inshallah, this Sunday at 1:15, we'll be going over beginning Arabic. All those who want to learn, all ages. We're all starting from the beginning. So those who are lacking, it doesn't matter. We're going to start back with Aleph, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Fa. We're going to start from the alphabet, inshallah. Because if we don't step our education up, then we'll stay stagnated. We'll stay stagnated. So this is a challenge to all the brothers and sisters of Masjid Aqaba, or those who frequent Masjid Aqaba, to come to our classes. Again, we have the classes also as well on Wednesdays and Saturdays for those who want to know about some introduction to Islam, and you can teach it to the others. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh, you believe, save yourself and then save your family. If you don't know nothing about this deen, if you haven't studied the deen, or you don't even know how to give dawah, then how are you saving your family from this deen? So as Muslims, it's required of us, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is mandatory for the Muslim to acquire knowledge. It's mandatory. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us to be da'is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and who is more better than he who is a da'i, who calls to the deen and says he is of the Muslimin. This goes for the men and the women. And again, inshallah, the emphasis is community life. Brothers, learn how to be brothers, give salams. Again, we're trying to facilitate a community center over here where brothers can sit down, chop it up, discuss things, right? As well as the sisters, we know, alhamdulillah, they got things going on. Some of the sisters, they're trying to get together and do things as sisters to bring about unity. And this is what we're trying to do here at Masjid Aqaba, inshallah. So whenever you get the opportunity to be a part of something that will bring about the community life, because there is no community, there is no Islam without community life, then inshallah, be of those who participate, inshallah. But again, stay tuned for the community center. We'll be making more announcements about it. If someone wants to use it for a certain facility, just let one of the brothers know, inshallah, they're on the board, inshallah. Any good that I said today is from Allah, for He is Al-Alim. All knowledge comes from Allah, and any bad that I said is from my own nafs, from shaitan. So I say, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim. Ameen. Aqim as-salam.